Hey guys, welcome to the channel. We are going to be talking about this deck today. This, in my opinion, is one of the best decks in the game. It's between this and Jaina, and it just kind of is very matchup dependent on what spells they've got, etc. But this deck, I feel, has got really good matchups across the board. It really does only consistently lose to other Barons and Jaina. And there was a big change that I've made from some of the previous times that I've played this deck. I'm running Blizzard, because I think Blizzard is really good. I've got Blizzard, obviously, at level 26, but it does 5,429 area damage. You little monkey. We're comparing that to Deep Breath, which would be its direct replacement, and that does half the damage, right? So obviously there's much more utility with Deep Breath, but you can get way more base damage with Blizzard when using the right circumstance. My little monkey is not letting me record a video.
What is that? That looks like...
Both of my little monkeys. I might have to pause this. Are you guys going to let me talk about the rest of the units?
Yeah.
Okay. Baron with Chill of the Grave, still the best, despite the nerf, still the best talent. We're using Ghoul, because Ghoul is a... Oh my god. Ghoul is great! So is Defiance Banners with Poison. Poison on our Quill Boar, because that means we can deal with Bubbles on Murloc Tidehunters and reveal Stealth. We're going to run Mighty Throw and Griffin Rider. We're also running our own Murloc Tidehunters with Stealth. Not with Stealth, with Bubble. And obviously, like I said, Blizzard. Let's analyze some gains and show you this in action. And we'll get going once I've put these little monkeys to bed. Okay, guys, let's start looking at some of these games. I'm so annoyed with myself. I did loads of recording and then realized I'd accidentally left the sound on, and I was watching a stream while I was playing these games, so all you could hear was the streamer in the background playing the game. And it wasn't a great listening experience for everyone. So here we're going to start again. And we're going to go through this first game here. Now, when you're playing on Arathi Basin, you generally want to try and go and control the middle platform, usually by either sending a Griffin Rider over it or using a Murloc Tidehunters or something. But in this case, you can see that my opponent has sent quite a big offensive down this hand side. So what you'll often find in Arathi Basin is people are usually just like either spam you from their closest tower to try and pressure out your base, or they'll go for heavy control over this middle area by sending stuff from their base and across. This case, he's kind of gone for much more of a heavy assault on my left-hand side. Now, I want to just point out, this unit is an MVP defensive unit. I almost never use this unit unless I'm defending. The reason being is once it kills something, it can basically regenerate its entire HP bar, and it gains armored with the talent, which is going to basically shield it versus all of this damage here. So it's just an absolutely fantastic unit. So it can often defend bases by itself, and you saw in this case, it is just constantly healing. It will now get the armor buff. We're going to use Blizzard here in this case, just to try and clear things out. And when you're using Blizzard, right, you have to consider Blizzard is 4 gold. So generally when you're using Blizzard, you want to at least get an equivalent 4 gold trade by going for units that cost 4 gold and hopefully getting the kills. Like in this case, we're killing a Ghoul and we're killing a Griffin Rider. That's 4 gold's worth of minis. If you're using Blizzard, like you're going to see in a moment on the base, you don't need to necessarily get the 4 gold value, but because you're getting damage on the base. And the reason that I like Blizzard over Deep Breath right now is for a couple of reasons. Blizzard is roughly 2 times the damage over the course of its duration as Deep Breath. It also roots units in place, which is obviously fantastic. I've been tempted to, if you're using the talent, I've been tempted to run the physical damage increase modifier, because I think that could potentially have a good place in the meta right now, but I haven't had a chance to do so just yet. But for the most part, the rooting one is perfectly fine. And also, it means if you do use it on the base, it's great for offensive pushes, and it's also doing about twice the damage of Deep Breath. So if you can get it on the base, it's going to do about twice the damage of Deep Breath to the base, which means that you can be less reliant on spamming it, and more you can spend more of your gold getting units onto the field and then using the blizzards in those absolute core moments that matter. So you're going to see here again another situation where Ghoul is going to be an absolute beast, kills the Baron. As long as you get a hit on a unit, Ghoul will be able to regenerate from it. And so gets the hit on the Baron, picks up the remains, and then just gets the hit. In this case, you saw me just use the Blizzard on the base. You can see how much damage that Blizzard is doing to the base before my Baron even touches it. And at this point, we've got really good control of the map. So generally, when I've got good control of the map, I'm going to send things across, because it means I can kind of cut off any offensive, but also maintain control of these gold mine areas, which has been pretty key for me with my kobolds. I have practically managed to stop him from mining the central platform at all. And especially if you don't have Dark Iron Miner on this level, it can often feel a bit meh. And this is another case of those situations where I didn't get a 4 gold trade with the Blizzard, but I killed the Griffin Rider, which then allowed me to set up an offensive and get some more damage on the base. Also put a lot of heavy chip damage on the base. So you need only look at the HP differences between our bases right now. I've used Blizzard 2 or 3 times on his base. He hasn't managed to use Blizzard once, and that's just the difference. I think he's actually running Deep Breath. He has been using Deep Breath to chip away, but it is slow, and it's not being as effective as Blizzard. The only thing that obviously that works in your favor with Deep Breath is you can get a lot more map control because it can be used with Double Dragon across the entire map. But I'm finding that not needing it, Blizzard is actually coming out really useful. So I'm going to use, again, set up defensive. Another really good defensive unit is the Defias Bandits. Like, Defias Bandits are just absolute little beasts in terms of like individual defense units. And here we're going to set up another little offensive. We've already got our Ghoul, though, set up to defend that push that's coming through. I can't stop him from going for the gold on the central platform this time around, but that is perfectly fine. Made a little boo-boo. Played my what are they called? Defias Bandits into the Deep Breath, which ended up being a bit meh. But again, Ghoul here, watch this little MVP go. All the way to full HP, and now he's armored, so he's going to be even harder for units to take down. Obviously, the skeleton mages deal elemental damage, so that's not that doesn't actually make a difference. But in my case here, he's still going, he's still healing, still getting hits on units, which is absolutely fantastic. Right, we're setting up now for another push with Baron. So in this case, I'm going to drop a Quillbore to pull the Dragon Tower over to the left-hand side, and we're going straight for a Blizzard. Doesn't quite land on the Quillbore, but that's okay. It does land on the Ghoul, which stops it from getting a regeneration and stops it from basically doing anything to my Baron, and we get a win just by cycling Blizzard on the base and setting up for good offensives. Right, let's skip to the next game. So we went from we upgraded our Blizzard to rare, by the way. To epic. I'm doing now, you see. I upgraded from rare. Oh my god, where is it? I don't know. There we go. Come on. There we go. Now it's epic. There we go. Upgraded it to epic. So that's now taken my Baron to level 10. Okay, so Alterac Valley. In this case, Alterac Valley, I generally like to send something to protect my Kobold Miner on this gold mine here. So that's why I'm sending my Griffin Rider. Goes over the bridge. You really want to get bridge control on this map. Bridge control basically gives you control of the entire map. So Griffin Rider over the top here is going to give me a lot of bridge control. He's running what it looks to be like kind of like a raid boss abomination deck. I don't really rate it. He also played it incorrectly because he played the Griffin Rider after the abomination, so it didn't actually give any levels to the abomination whatsoever. And abomination is just not a great unit. It's slow, it's clunky, it dies pretty heavily to a lot of air units. My Baron basically solo tanked it. Yeah, not a big deal. We're going to turn the Huntress away using a Quillbore unbound tanking technique. Quillbore does physical damage, so that will actually deal with the Huntress relatively easily. And we've basically got complete control at this point. That this guy's never really going to be able to get control of the chest areas with the abomination. It's just not good enough, even though his abomination is level 9, which is absolutely crazy. My abomination is not level 9. That unit is not good enough to warrant an epic upgrade core for me. You can just see like how easily it's dealt with by a lot of the meta units right now. Like, it's sitting there and my Ghoul is tanking it, my Baron is tanking it. Even though Tyrion has respawned, it's basically almost dead, and that's a 6 gold investment. I end up just using Blizzard to try and ensure that the abomination goes down, but it wasn't a necessary Blizzard, if I'm honest with you. The Tyrion was never going to heal that abomination up, because I think the Tyrion's running Divine Shield talent, and he's not actually running the primary healing talent, so never really going to get a huge amount done there. And at this point, he's spent so much gold and lost so much gold that I'm just outvaluing across the rest of the map. He can't compete with the fast pace of this Baron deck, and we end up getting a quick win. That was nice. Let's go to the next game. This is a good game. This is versus a Grommash. So Grommash is another good meta deck right now, and we are on the Hillsbrad Foothills map. Hillsbrad Foothills map is very, very simple. Because we're on Dragon Towers, I generally just tend to avoid the side tower whenever possible. So I'm basically always sending my units this way, which makes it quite obvious. But Dragon Towers, especially for the Baron deck, unless you're going to pull the Dragon Tower away with Quillbore like this, they're always just really hard to take, and it just feels like wasted resources, so I never really go for it. In this case, you're going to see me Blizzard the Grommash and the base straight away. Not going to kill the Grommash, but why am I doing this? I'm just stopping Grommash getting down to protect his gold mine. I'm establishing lane control by stopping Grommash getting halfway down the lane, and it just makes him on the back foot immediately, because my Baron is now heading straight up towards him. And even though he's blizzarded in return and obviously has got more value out of that blizzard. I got base damage, which is obviously really, really important. So we're going to take down the Grommash here. We're also going to just split tank with the Quillboar, which is great. We get a really, really nice positive trade out of that. He's going to send a really weirdly, sends a Darkspear Troll by himself. I assume to secure this that gold mine down there. But, you know, Baron himself can deal with Darkspear Troll very, very, very easily. So we won't be able to stop his Kobold because it had the Bloodlust buff from the Grommash, and he's going to get another Blizzard out here. I don't mind losing minis on the map to Blizzard. The reason being is I've Blizzarded on his base quite a few times, so I've kind of got more value out of my Blizzards overall. And, you know, as we can see here, he's going to wait. And this is what I really like, right? There is a meta that kind of revolves around waiting for the enemy to get into the range of Dragon Towers and then defending, right? Blizzard kind of punishes that, and that's what I really like. So obviously I'm going to wait. He's going to set up for a defense, and I'm just going to Blizzard. Like, deals with his mirror images really quickly, and essentially kills off the Grommash as well with the rest of the units that I've got pushing up. I don't do a good job of dealing with this Darkspear Troll. That is one of the only things that I make a bit of a boo-boo on. This Darkspear Troll, you're going to notice it in a minute. I do a bit of a crap job. I should really drop the Quillboar much quicker, but I don't. And the Darkspear Troll ends up killing my Griffin Rider. But we get bailed out with another Blizzard that hits the base as well. And you're noticing, just look at the chip damage the Blizzard's doing to the base, like way higher than we'd get with Deep Breath. And we're still getting a similar amount of value out of it. And that's what I like about Blizzard. It's kind of like, it's a bit of an anti-meta spell, especially in the Dragon Tower metas, because it punishes people that kind of rely on the Dragon Tower damage to do the majority of the work for them. So again, good little counter to the Darkspear Troll here. And we should set up for a nice push, which essentially allows me a bit of free reign going for this gold mine. We're again going to see a Witch Doctor drop, but I'm not that afraid of Witch Doctor. Obviously, without Grommash, it's not that big of a deal anyway. And again, I'm waiting for another opportunity to go for the Blizzard. But I think at this point, he's given up. He's realized he can't outtrade me. He's not really gaining map control, and I've done too much chip damage to his base. So even if he could come back into the game, he would require one sort of ungodly level push to make it happen, and that just hasn't happened. So as you can see, I'm not going crazy. I'm not spending all my gold, because some people can bait you like this, where they kind of pretend to give up, then just mount a massive counter-offensive. But it looked pretty obvious that he'd given up at that point. Right, let's jump on to the next game then. This is a good one. I think this is versus a Jaina. Yeah, this is versus Jaina. So, Jaina is a pretty good answer into this deck. This deck has a lot of cheap minis that are very good at taking upwards trades with a lot of good map control. But Jaina generally has a lot of spells that can prove nuisance. And also, this unit up here is the #1 most annoying unit in the game. Anyone agree with me? Harvest Golem, the most annoying unit in the entire game? Yeah. And look, the levels are fine. Like, I'm going to get a bit of chip damage down here. We're starting to do a bit of work, but he's split his Jaina and the rest of his units quite nicely. So Jaina gets split, doesn't get caught in the Blizzard. I have to make a choice between clearing out the stuff for me and clearing out the stuff near Jaina. And then Harvest Golem, the single most annoying unit in the game. Absolutely insane HP pool. Has a stun that just becomes a right nuisance to deal with. And yeah, frankly, it looks like it's going well to begin with. But that's, again, like, just because I've had a pretty aggressive start, he's now going to start using a lot of his spells, and you're going to notice that whilst I get off to a good start, this Harvest Golem ends up being major issues for me. I just can't blow the Harvest Golems up quickly enough. Now, a tactic that I probably should have looked for here was just cycling Baron very, very heavily and just hoping that Baron ends up doing the majority of the work for me. But he can execute the Baron, which you can see he's doing here. He's actually executing the Baron as well. So he's kind of keeping his he's kind of keeping his Harvest Golems going. He also then just uses Deep Breath, clears off the Baron, and he's got Dark Iron Miner. That is what I think has really kind of punished me in this case. He's running all of this plus Dark Iron Miner, which is just basically giving him then extra control over that gold mine area. And then this is the point where I'm just starting to now get outvalued. I'm off to a good start, but I've got no gold now, and I'm actually struggling to even get out of my own base. He's now started actually executing my base. He's even going for a cheeky little Dark Iron Miner play, going for my side gold. Like, he's in a very aggressive spot, and he's going to keep dropping these. Harvest golems right next to my Baron. My Baron is going to get stuck on them by the base, and I'm just going to skip forward here because it just essentially you can see I get quite a bit of damage down, but it just gets to double overtime, and he just spams spells on my base, and I can't compete. So that's why Jaina is quite a good matchup for Baron, is that she just, with Harvest Golem, it's impossible for Baron to really get through that unit easily without execute. And because I'm running the Blizzard version of the deck, which is a bit more control for like a lot of smaller units, it's just not the right matchup, one of the harder matchups for this deck. Right, let's find another game. All right, last one. Let's look at this game versus Blood Mage Thalnos. So, Thalnos, obviously a pretty good deck in the meta right now, probably the best that Thalnos has ever been in the meta. We are once again going to send our little protection squad for our Kobold up the side lane here. I'm actually going to drop a Quillbot on his Dark Iron Miner because I just don't want him to kind of really snowball out of control with this Blood Mage Thalnos. In this case, we're going to drop a Quillbot right behind, which has actually worked out quite well for me because he polymorphed, and although obviously it's meant that my Quillbot hasn't been able to tank as much as he should have done, he polymorphed, and he actually didn't kill off my Baron. So we're going to kill off his we're going to kill off his Thalnos here. We did use our Blizzard more aggressively in this case, didn't go for a base push, and that I think probably caused a bit of an issue later down the line where he's able to get these really big defensive plays off with Thalnos. But we're off to a pretty good start, and as you can see, we are controlling kind of the the central chest area, which is kind of very important. As you can see, he's using his Dark Iron Miner in a really annoying way. He's obviously just going for the kind of the side of the map, which is the safest for me. But that's okay. We're perfectly fine with that. We're actually going to drop a Quillbot to keep that poison going, by the way, on the Ghoul. The Ghoul poison will just mean that, we deal more damage than we would have done otherwise. Thalnos will get a couple of good hits here, and he will then also use the Holy Nova to try and generate some extra defenses on the Thalnos. This Thalnos is becoming a major issue, by the way. He's going to walk straight over the base, and this is actually where this gets scary, this game. This Thalnos is slow, so the best option that I've got right now is to kind of just run it, get the chests, run it, put as much pressure on the base as physically possible. The Thalnos will have to be dealt with as it gets closer to the base, so I'm actually going to have to go for like kind of one of these defensive plays around the base. I can even use a Blizzard here, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to Blizzard straight up here just to get some more damage on the base while I hopefully then have opportunity to defend this Thalnos. You'll notice I have kind of like a rushed defense of this Thalnos. I drop stuff a little bit too soon, which isn't great. And he's got a level 20 Thalnos here, which is not fantastic for me, as you can see. We're doing a little bit of work, and we're going to even drop a Ghoul right in front of him. He does get the healing, which then, for some reason, changes targets somehow. But it's okay. We do eventually take down the Thalnos. He uses Arcane Blast to try and get me down, but what's happened as a result of this is he's got another very, very big Thalnos walking down the middle. He's now got control of the chests, which I had to give up because he got a Thalnos towards my base. And actually, I have got it may look like I've not got a huge amount to take down on his base, but that can be quite daunting when you don't have map control. If you can't actually get onto his base, that can end up being a bit of an issue. And we're almost killing that Thalnos in the middle, which is nice. So we're taking down the big level Thalnoses now, which makes this a little easier for us to deal with. And although there is a Thalnos walking towards my base, it's not that big of a deal because I am basically kind of like one Blizzard away from getting this down. And we actually do end up getting the game. He probably could have defended, but I think he realized that he was kind of done at this point. But yeah, I think I'm loving Blizzard at the moment. I think it's a really, really good spell. And I think it's... this is probably one of the best decks in the game for climbing the ladder right now. So I hope you guys enjoy it. And I will see you very soon.